sector. We have chosen to deal with the small business inclusion problem. And so when it comes to how do we want to do that? We want to democratize those services that have been out of the reach of small businesses. Those services like tax consultancy services, legal services, just inventory management, being able to do the invoicing at a fraction. And so what we're trying to do is not just have your business account in your mobile app. Anyone can do that. There are many banks that can do that. But to be able to carry your business in your mobile phone, because the truth about it is that the future of Africa is digital. The future is definitely mobile and agile. Because what you are beginning to see that people 20 years ago, if you wanted to start a business, you go and find, a place. You go to CAC, you go to tax office. If you want to be law abiding, then you go to a bank. Today, I want people to think, okay, even me personally, because even starting a small business was difficult. Even that was difficult. I want to go and say, I have an idea. And because what do businesses do? They actually try to solve people's problems. I want to solve this problem, and I want to go to Sparkle. And that should mean that from that idea, I should be able to incorporate my company, get my regulatory tax things all in one place, and then start my business without actually going. And I want to be able to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's when the idea and that's when that came.
Okay.
And so that is what and we have the tools now and the technology to do that. And so even from the education part, we're going to be we're developing using chatbots, and we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to educate and be able to, so that people can access that wherever they are at scale, at a price point that they can afford.
Well, we don't want to deal too much into the technology part of the conversation, because tomorrow is for tech. We're going to talk tech. I know that you're itching to do that. But you said something I wanted to bring to your attention. How is it like being a leader in a small startup and being a leader in a diamond bank? What has been the biggest maybe challenge for you? And if you were to compare, what is more exciting for you?
And to be frank, they were both exciting from different perspectives. Because when I was in Diamond Bank, Diamond Bank has always been entrepreneurial. And so I have to give it to that. Credit. Yeah. So we were always trying to change, and so we're always trying to find the next big thing, and not just rely on the status quo. And so to do that, we did a lot of work with fintech companies. In fact, a lot of our innovation and creativity, like when we talk about Diamond Yellow and Better Banking, that was collaboration with fintechs, and so that entrepreneurial spirit was always there. And so in Sparkle, it was exactly the same. But I guess the difference between Diamond and Sparkle was that you have to do everything yourself. You're starting from the ground up again. But then again, if your leadership style is like that, then it's not a problem. Because for me, it's been a fantastic journey. It's been it is a sparkling journey, because you're learning new stuff, and that's the whole idea. You're learning new stuff, and you're also beginning to understand the customer's pain point, because you're starting from small. So when I'm talking to small businesses, I understand their problems better, right? I understand, because I'm actually in the office. I understand I need to get staff. I understand I need to get marketing. I understand my cash flow problems are real cash flow problems, and not one. I understand that my access to finance is limited because I don't have proven cash flows yet, and so I have a long way to go. And so both have been exciting. So like in Diamond Bank, I was fortunate because we could do stuff that other people were not doing. We could say we're going digital, we're going cashless, we're going into new markets, we're going to solve the financial inclusion problem, we're going to women, and so that spirit is still. And so basically Sparkle, we're just taking it we're just trying to weaponize it with digital.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's take comments quickly. Isi, I think Uti, you have some comments.
Okay, my comment is from Lio. He says, or she says, what inspired you to start all over again with a Gen Z team?
I'm trying to pick my words here, because I'm trying to choose my. So I don't think it's starting all over again. It was just continuing.
Okay.
Because we're still doing the same thing, but we are building a platform to help us scale it and democratize it. Now, and I think all financial institutions have a role to play in Nigeria. Because Nigeria has big problems, so you need all parties. And so fintechs are not going to solve the problems. Traditional banks are not going to solve the problem. It's going to be a collaboration of different players in the market. And so, for me, what inspired me was the great work that we had done, and like the lives and the impact that we had made. And there's nothing like understanding how a savings account can transform a person's life. You have like a woman, I remember, that said that because of that savings account, she could save, she could send her children to school, and then she could also invest in her business. And now, how can we actually create more of those situations? There's a limit to what brick and mortar and people can do. But if, in the collaboration of different organizations, government, agencies, legislators, we can, make it more accessible.
Absolutely.
Then that, for me, that is what actually makes, because then again, there's a story that, I remember when I heard that Bill Gates, and this was a very long time, Bill Gates is giving all his money away to charity. I was thinking, this guy is crazy. This guy is mad. But I really get it now, because, sometimes there's nothing like that philanthropic return where you see what
your
money can do to transform. It is immortality.
Yeah.
And that's what man seeks, is immortality, right? And legacy. And I think that is what, for me, it's like the life that you have transformed. So like people don't, it's like what makes people happy when they think about it is like how they've helped people, how they've seen a plant grow, how they've seen a business grow, how they've seen their seed investment just change people's lives.
Okay, Uti, we run out of time. Can you quickly take your comments? We've run out of time.
Okay, so I have two very short comments. The first one says, I agree with Uzoma. Getting change implemented is really hard, but leadership can drive it, and that's from George. And the second one says, Uzoma always spoke digital for years. How did he see and perceive the future? And that's from Leia. Okay, so Leia's question, we'll answer it tomorrow because it's about tech. Because we've actually run out of time. Then this from Benson, it says, digital tech frees the leader from clerical burden. So I was going to ask you one question. So we described your style of leadership. If you were to describe your style of leadership, maybe in a few words, what would you say, is your style of leadership?
Freedom and trust, right? Because you have, and that trust frees you from, that micromanaging. Because really, one of the things, what I want to do is I want to think about the future. I want to think about strategy, and I want to work with people. And there's nothing like when people are empowered, and then because that spurs creativity and innovation, and that opens up policy that allows challenge. So, and in Diamond Bank, and today you can ask any of my colleagues, I'm open to challenge. But for me, that challenge is and if you look at, I watch many films, and you find great leaders are always, finding somebody to battle with, because it tests their skills, it tests their courage. And so you have to keep pushing that envelope. And if you don't, you become rusty. And so for me, that is what we need. Yeah. Freedom.
Thank you so much. We are going to have a part 2 tomorrow. So let us save all the tech questions for tomorrow. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Temi. Thank you, Uti. Thank you, Isi.
Thank you.
All right, so Ways was birthed from the need to inspire, inform, influence lives towards action. And this year, we're starting our CSR focused on curbing unemployment in Nigeria. So if you are a company, please partner with us by allocating internship slots for us, to give to job seekers. And if you are a job seeker, keep watching Ways. Follow us on all our social media platforms and tell your friends to keep all their eyes on Ways. So I'm going to take my time to read this, our very long quote. So our quote, in case you missed our quote for today, here it is again. Would you like me to give you a formula for success? That's the question. It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure. You're thinking of failure as the enemy of success, but it isn't at all. You can be discouraged by failure, or you can learn from it. So go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because remember that that is where you will find success. That's from Thomas J. Watson. So we'll see you live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring a part 2 of this conversation discussing tech and the future with Uzoma Dozie. See you tomorrow.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Cross Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. Today I'm your host Maida de la Salette with the latest in celebrity news, film, sports and television around the world. Let's begin. A Happy New Year to you all. To kick off 2021, we have a special episode for you this week, focusing on film and television as we continue to stay home and binge on our favorites in preparation to the upcoming awards season. We begin with British supermodel Naomi Campbell, who spoke about the upcoming Apple TV Plus docuseries The Supermodels in an interview with the Associated Press at an event in Lagos.
The series explores how she and fellow models Linda Evangelista, Cindy Crawford, and Christy Turlington rose to fame in the late 1980s. The four women co-produced the series, along with Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
It's about our life. It's about the Cindy's life, my life, Christy's life, Linda's life, basically how we came together, how we've worked together, how we've remained friends of all these years, and what we've been through in the experience of being in the business for all these years. Behind the scenes, yes, because I did put the deal together, but I think it's important because we get to really tell our story the right way instead of people trying to tell our story for us.
The series shows how Campbell and other so-called supermodels transcended the brands they modeled for to become superstars in their own right with immense cultural capital. It will also feature exclusive portraits of the women, taking an intimate look at their ongoing friendships and the highs and lows of global fame.
I'm looking forward to this journey, and I hope people will understand a lot more about me and Linda and Cindy and Christy, because I think they just think about famous, famous, famous. It's not what it is. It's a lot of hard work.
Film company Solidify Productions and the distribution branch of Urban Home Entertainment, Trial X Fire, have teamed up for the release of 2 films now available on Amazon Prime and Vimeo. The feature film titled Joseph tells the story of a young Jamaican doctor who hopes to reconnect with family from the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. Shot in Ghana, Jamaica, and Barbados, the film won Best Diaspora Narrative Feature at the 2020 African Movie Academy Awards.
Preserving the family legacy is also your responsibility.
You are descendant of Nani, many mighty warriors.
The documentary film titled The Unity Ride tells the journey of 2 cyclists on a 2,700-mile excursion from New Orleans to Toronto to map out a path of the Underground Railroad. The film conveys how the 2 men from different backgrounds come together for the journey and ultimately become very close. Communities across America. The filmmakers tell VOA's Penelope Pulu that their film reflects Americans' collective humanity and empathy.
Kindness is the word that inspired Emmy Award-winning filmmakers Kahani Cooperman and John Hoffman to make The Antidote. The documentary focuses on how American communities across the country are coming together in times of need.
My name is O'Connell. I'm Dr. O'Connell. What do you need? Anything?
I need mental health.
Dr. James O'Connell, founder of Boston Healthcare, McIntyre teaches a class about religious tolerance and the diversity of faith in America.
We need to protect the rights of the smallest minority, because in doing that, we're protecting our own rights. We can't get too comfortable. We have to stand up for each other.
The story.
How do we lead?
Hoffman says the film was made as a counterpoint to the growing political and social divisions in America.
Those stories are all examples of working to right these systemic wrongs that we call fundamental unkindnesses.
It's, fundamentally unkind to not have a safe place to sleep. Fundamentally unkind to not have access to health care. Racism is fundamentally unkind. Homophobia is fundamentally unkind. Sexism is fundamentally unkind.
Cooperman says that although the film was made just before the country was ensnarled in the grip of the pandemic, it is relevant today.
More relevant, perhaps, than when we even started. Certainly with COVID, it was about communities coming together.
Such as how communities in Anchorage, Alaska are welcoming African refugees, or how elderly communities in Portland, Oregon are caring for children in foster care. The filmmakers hope the documentary inspires people to reach out to one another and to feed the force of good, rather than fan the flames of hatred and divisiveness.
Even before
the online portal chess.com has registered 28 million players, and Amazon is apologizing to clients because many chess sets ordered online won't be available in time for Christmas. The meteoric rise in the popularity of this ancient battle royale has a lot to do with the popularity of the Queen's Gambit, a hit Netflix show about the rise of a troubled chess prodigy.
This is the biggest thing since 50 years. Fischer against the Russians in Reykjavik. The last time this country saw this madness, or what we call chess fever.
Americans have always had a complex relationship with chess, in part because it was one small battlefield of the Cold War between Russia and the United States. In 1972, the American Bobby Fischer won a game dubbed the Game of the Century when he beat the Soviet chess champion Boris Spassky. The Netflix show The Queen's Gambit is something of a retelling of that story. It focuses on an orphaned girl from Kentucky who beats her own demons and an unbeatable Soviet grandmaster in a game that transcends the decades-long conflict between the two great superpowers.
The antagonists, the Soviet chess champions, are depicted very warmly. There's no extra conflict added to the show about the Cold War, about fighting. There's no mean-spiritedness.
World chess champion Garry Kasparov was supposed to play the Soviet grandmaster Borgov in the show, but instead, he choreographed all the games in the show. He says the games are all real. Kasparov controlled every single one of them.
It was a question of prestige for me. I knew that my colleagues would be watching the show very closely, watching every game, and I promised myself that they wouldn't have anything to criticize, that each game would be perfect.
Even the chess figures the orphan Beth Harmon conjures on her ceiling are not just the show's invention.
In reality, chess players, when they think about chess, even during a game, oftentimes there are chess players who actually literally look up at the ceiling and are calculating variations.
American-Hungarian Susan Polgar became a grandmaster at the age of 15.
I was never involved with alcohol or drugs or lived a lifestyle as Beth Harmon, but I, of course, have been told a lot worse things, and including sexual harassment and including physical intimidation. But, verbal abuse was just an everyday thing, that girls can't play chess, girls don't belong in chess.
The show, however, focuses on the idea that the game of chess is humane and eternal, and even in the middle of the Cold War, there's room for warm embraces.
The last scene in the show, she goes to the boulevard where men are playing chess.
Over 50 movies have been made about chess, but not many managed to make the game look so human and warm and fun. For Elena Wolf in Florida, Anna Rice, VOA News.
COVID-19 was the main protagonist of the film industry in 2020. This nefarious character dominated the saga of Hollywood's struggles at the box office, with moviegoers staying home and theater chains going bust. On the plus side, films focused on stories about minorities and gender equality, reflecting the diversity of movie-going audiences. Before we say goodbye, let's take a look at some of the films in this story by VOA's Penelope Kalu.
We're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
Tenet, a mind-boggling sci-fi by award-winning director Christopher Nolan, could have been one of the year's blockbusters had it not been for the pandemic's virulent effect on movie theaters. Hailed for its special effects and intelligent plot, the film was released theatrically last spring to scant audiences.
How would you like to die?
Old.
You chose the wrong profession.
The film's cautionary tale urged Warner Brothers and other studios to either postpone their productions or release their blockbusters to theaters and streaming simultaneously. One of those is Wonder Woman 1984. The Warner Brothers superhero sequel by filmmaker Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot, is playing both on the large screen and on TV for HBO Max subscribers. Warner Brothers announced all of its 2021 blockbusters will open on HBO Max and movie theaters at the same time. Pixar's animated film Soul is playing on Disney's streaming platform Disney+. Heading to a music audition, pianist Joel Gardner, played by Jamie Foxx, has a serious accident. His soul disconnects from his body. Time is of the essence before the soul finds its way back to Gardner's body. The film has garnered acclaim as the year's best animated movie featuring a predominantly black star-studded cast. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a film adaptation of the theater play by Pulitzer Prize winner August Wilson. Oscar winner Viola Davis stars as the 1920s mother of the blues, Ma Rainey, performing next to ambitious trumpeter Levi, played by Chadwick Boseman, in his final role before his death last August. Boseman may receive an Oscar posthumously for this role. The film is streaming on Netflix. It wouldn't be the holidays without a Tom Hanks blockbuster. News of the World, a Western drama, follows Captain Kidd, a widowed Civil War veteran played by Hanks, on a perilous journey accompanying an orphaned girl to her relatives. The girl had lost her family and had been raised by the Kiowa, a Native American tribe. The film throws light on white children who were abducted and raised by Native Americans in the 1800s and the difficulty these kids had rehabilitating into Western culture. Universal Studios hedges that this Oscar hopeful, with Tom Hanks and director Paul Greengrass at the helm, will bring wide audiences into movie theaters this holiday season. Penelope Pulu, VOA News, Washington.
Thanks for watching VOA's Red Carpet. It was a pleasure being here with you. I'm Mayra de la Salette. Production was with Bárbara Santos. For more on your entertainment news, check us out on www.voanews.com or on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Until next time, everyone.
It's been an unusual year for us all. We've been forced to learn to adapt to the changes that COVID-19 has brought upon us. However the cards may have been dealt to us this year, we have remained resilient. The Afrima Fashion Show stems from the Afrima Award Show, which is the biggest African award show in the diaspora. Every year, we have showcased designers and we bring together people from all over the world. This year, the Afrima Runway is graced by the top 3 African designers who have welcomed the challenge of doing a virtual runway show without any physical audience. Don Murphy, Ese Ezanabo, and lastly, Sai Sanko. Let the show begin.
Hi guys, my name is Sai Sankar and I am a luxury resort wear designer and I make the most amazing and fabulous kaftans and everything that you desire for traveling. I just really love the way women carried themselves back then, you know, the Marilyn Monroes, you know. It was sexy.